providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Well, hello there. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Woo! Dun 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 dun. I don't know the football music.
No.
I like football.
No.
That's not it. But.
Oh my gosh, it is Super Bowl Sunday and everybody is just nuts with excitement. I guess. I don't know, not really. I mean, I'm just going about my day. Uh-oh, what's wrong?
I got a gnat on my mic.
Oh, a gnat on your mic right here in the dead of winter. That's Candace Terri that has a gnat on her mic. Nobody else in the world is saying that right now. I'm Terri Stacy, and we're so glad that you're here for us on Caregiver Crossing. It's a good show, and we come to you from from Joyce House. Do we call it Joyce House Indy? Yeah, Joyce House Indy studio.
That works. We can call it whatever we want to call it.
Northside, Joyce House, Northside?
We call it Joyce House Broad Ripple.
Okay, let's call it that.
Internally, but for our listeners that aren't here local, maybe Joyce House in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Joyce House in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're glad each and every one of you are here with us today. We try to provide really good information for you, for those if you are a caregiver, you are a future caregiver, if you just don't have anything else to do at this time, you just such a tune in to see
you find us humorous and interesting and educational, or just crazy.
Yeah, but we're glad you're here on this Super Bowl Sunday. Again, Tina McIntosh will be back with us any minute now. Any day she's going to be back in her seat to my right, to Candace's left, and we will resume as a threesome. And we've missed her desperately, and we're so glad that her recovery is just about over, and she'll be joining us back here on Caregiver Crossing. If you aren't familiar with Joyce House, you want to tell them a little bit about it, and also the care kits, because I think it's important to always mention the care kits.
Yes, care kits they're hot commodities nowadays. So thank you all for reaching out. Joyce House is an adult day center. We are in Indianapolis. We have 2 locations, centrally located in Broad Ripple and also near the south side of town, near the University of Indianapolis. And we serve families and individuals living with life-altering diagnosis. So whether that be a cognitive decline diagnosis, such as Alzheimer's or dementia, or a traumatic brain injury, or simply just aging well, but needs to get out of the house and get around other people.
Yeah, so important.
Thank you. Yes, so that was the word I was looking for. Socialization. That's why we're here. We are open Monday through Friday. So if you think of us a lot like childcare, but for the other end of the spectrum. We also have caregiver support services, Caregiver Crossing, the Care Kits, an end-of-life doula program, Caregiver Way, which is going to be a online caregiver support website that's launching in the spring. We're here for caregivers and everyone that needs us. So
we're going to talk a little bit today here in Indiana. Something happened when it comes to caregivers, and the state's Medicaid office discovered a forecasting error in December that resulted in a nearly $1 billion budget shortfall. A mistake, big mistake. So the agency started looking to cut costs immediately. And one solution the Family and Social Services Administration announced last week is no longer pay parents or spouses for caring for elderly or disabled loved ones, including children with severe disabilities and complex medical conditions. What this is going to do for hundreds of families here in Indiana is devastating.
Yeah, it really is.
It's devastating. So just in a little bit, you're going to hear from a caregiver that I spoke with a couple of weeks ago, a few days ago, I guess, really. Time goes by so fast. Talked to her. She's caring for her son, Anthony, who's 4 years old. He needs 24-hour care. And we're going to find out how it affects her, but truly relatable for anyone that is caring for the elderly or for a child that needs 24 hours care. So we're going to talk about that. Candace is going to talk a little bit about a company or an organization or something. It's getting a lot of attention here. It's called Pathways. We'll maybe talk about that in the back half hour. But anyway, this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. Families caregivers really depended on this funding to help keep their households afloat. And it really boiled down to about $14 an hour to care for their loved one. So that $1 billion shortfall, I don't know how you lose $1 billion in a budget, but
And $14 an hour is about, in some instances, it's far less than what you would be paying a nurse, so families have been doing it at a cheap cost, and you'll just hear the conversation and you'll decide. But I believe that we all need to be paying attention to this.
Yes, we do. We do. And I know Terry's going to talk with a family caregiver that is affected by this, but we will continue to try to connect with someone that at the state level that's really kind of behind a driving force behind this decision and see what they are saying. But if anyone is affected by this and wants to email us, maybe let us help be your voice, you can email Tina at joyshouse.org or call 317-254-0828. We're here to support and help in any way that we can. And this is going to be a big deal to a lot of people.
It is going to be a big deal. I'll just mention right now, for those of you here in Indiana or elsewhere, because maybe you'd like to support our Indiana families, you can make a public comment, and you need to make this public comment by the 19th of February. And we can put this up somewhere, but if you've got a pen or something, let me just tell you right now, it is DDRS waiver notice comment at fssa.in.gov. Okay, I'll do it again. DDRS waiver notice comment at fssa.in.gov.
And I will be sure to put those in the show notes here, and also link it to our Facebook page. So you can always go there. That's Caregiver Crossing Radio on Facebook, and caregivercrossingradio.org is our where the show notes will be found.
Perfect.
Moving on, Miss Terri.
Please, you're watching the clock. I don't have one in front of me.
We got a couple more minutes. So tell me, do you bet on football games?
No. Because I'm a loser. When I gamble, I'm a loser. I've never won money, ever. I'm a terrible gambler. And I'm not even gambling but a few bucks here and there when I've tried. I'm better at office pools. I'm better at office pools. And I'm not even great at that. But I've won more in office pools than I have actually, gambling for real. Although this is for real.
This is for real.
I think it's against the law, in fact. I don't know.
Well,
can you gamble in office pools? Is it legal?
I don't know about that.
Illegal? I don't know.
You can gamble legally here in Indiana.
Yeah, well, sure.
I did realize we're in Florida. You cannot do so. So I went to go make a bet in Florida when we were there a few weeks ago and was highly disappointed. But I will be cheering for the 49ers. And
me too. Me too.
Go 49ers.
So you're not cheering for Taylor Swift?
No. I'm going to leave Taylor on the sidelines this round.
Yeah.
And
on the side, actually in a luxury suite.
Yeah. I'll be at home on my couch in my fuzzy PJs.
Yeah, me too. That's the way I like to do Super Bowl. I do.
Yeah, it's the best way to go. All right, we got to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here each week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit caregivercrossingradio.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and so much more. That website again is caregivercrossingradio.org. caregivercrossingradio.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Carrie Stacy along with Candace Haddabaugh. Well, as you have heard, the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration's proposed cost-cutting measure as a result of the agency's $1 billion shortfall announced in December will negatively affect hundreds of family caregivers in our state. And last week I spoke to Danielle Johnson. She's an attendant caregiver for Anthony, and she wrote a powerful plea for help and encouraging others to do something too on social media. I wanted to hear from someone that is a caregiver and how the FSSA's mistake will affect their family. So I asked her first to tell us about Anthony.
So Anthony is 4 years old. He has a rare genetic disease with a genetic mutation. It's called spinal muscular atrophy type 0. So normally you'll hear about type 1 through 4, but he's a type 0, so it's even rare. And normally both parents have to actually be a carrier of this gene, but I'm actually not a carrier, so that's why there's that rare mutation.
So from birth, he's needed round-the-clock care.
Exactly, yes, ma'am. He is bedridden. He's nonverbal. He can move his arms and legs. He can make noises and sounds, but he can't actually form sentences or anything at the moment. I'm not even sure that'll ever be anything he'll be able to do. He'll never walk. He'll never be potty trained or be able to even use a restroom like a normal person. He's fully dependent on me. He has a ventilator. He's on a trach. He has a feeding tube. He takes nothing orally by mouth at all. So we have to do oral care, absolutely everything that you could think of.
Bless his heart. Does Anthony have any siblings?
Yes, so he has 3 brothers. One of them is actually 20 and he's already moved out, but we have a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old here at home.
So it's pretty evident that you're not able to hold a job outside the home. You are actually a paid employee of a home health agency since 2021 under the aged and disabled waiver through Indiana Medicaid. And you went through an extensive application process to qualify for this job.
In-home assessments where the care managers have to actually come into our homes, do assessments and take vitals and look at the equipment and see what's needed, and they're the ones that allocate the hours that we're allowed. So if they're submitting these hours to the FSSA and the FSSA is approving it, I'm not understanding where the shortfall is coming.
So this is where the anger and the confusion and the fear comes in from families all across the state.
They're saying that this is a program that was started because of COVID, but that is not true. The program was actually started in 2017, and it was called the Medically Complex Warriors Program through the Aged and Disabled Waiver. They said it would not be impacted post-COVID, that this would not be one of the, it says waivers are not impacted by the end of PHE flexibilities for parents as paid caregivers of minor dependent children. The aged and disabled waiver and the traumatic brain injury waiver were not supposed to be impacted.
Anthony's round-the-clock care includes taking him to more than 10 doctors in 2 states at a fraction of what a nurse is paid.
Yeah, not even close. We had a nurse for a couple of weeks one time, but she wouldn't change diapers, so that wasn't feasible to keep her, because if she's not going to change them and I'm not here, then somebody has to. Yeah. So I still have to be here even if we have a nurse. I can't drive alone with them because he is on a ventilator. So, but she was making $38 an hour.
The proposed FSSA's changes. What choice will caregivers have?
They said that we'll be given a choice of something called a family structured waiver or some sort, and that it'll be like a daily stipend, but it won't be paid directly to us. It'll be paid directly to our home health agency, and then they get their cut and give us what's left. So we'll probably get about 40% of $77 a day. That's not a livable wage at all. They're single parents that this is their only income. It's not our only income. It is a huge part of it. Without it, we're going to lose our home. We're going to lose everything. I don't even know it. We don't have any family here in Indiana. I have a sister-in-law and a brother-in-law here, but that's it. All of my family is in Texas, so I don't know what we'll do.
Well, as you mentioned in your post, the options you all face if this happens include parents finding nursing care, institutionalizing more critical needs kids, structured family care, as you mentioned. But with nursing shortages and few pediatric beds, you could be on a wait list for weeks. You could be on a waiting list for months even.
There were shortages before COVID. There's definitely shortages now. And they know that we won't be able to fulfill those hours with somebody else, so that's how they'll save their money.
What frustrates you the most about what's happened and could happen at Indiana Caregivers' expense?
There's no transparency. They haven't told us. There's no real data, no real facts. There was a meeting with the FSSA yesterday, and then normally they live stream their meetings and there can be public comment on them. Well, then today, Governor Eric Holcomb put out an executive order that there will be a pause on all live streaming meetings until September 1st. So now we're not even able to watch and see what's going to happen to our lives. And there's only 2 pediatric nursing facilities in the state of Indiana, and they're completely full. But even if that was an option, I'm not putting my child in an institution.
What frustrates you the most about what's happened and could happen at Indiana Caregivers' expense?
It's not extra. It's a livable wage. Are we supposed to just be homeless with our children or just depend on the state and other resources? Because I'm not on any kind of food stamps or housing assistance, so they're saving money there.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other families who, you know, like us, were on food stamps before this. But they took that because they gave us this. So it gives us a sense of dignity. We, you know, the money that they're paying us, we're actually putting back out by the things we buy and put back into the world. So we're paying taxes on everything also. It's not.
I think this is an issue that we all need to pay attention to, whether we are caregivers or not, right? Do you too?
Definitely. My mother actually lives with us, and she's disabled, so I also care for her, but I do not get paid in any way for that. I just take care of her. She's my mother. Knows that no matter what, we're going to take care of our children, whether we're being paid or not. They know that. So they're banking on saving the money by there not being any nurses to care for the kids, so they won't have to pay that, and they won't have to pay us anymore.
Well, as many of you know, on Monday, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch convened a special meeting of the Indiana Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Task Force, which she chairs. She wanted IDD task force members and the public to hear directly from the Family and Social Services Administration regarding its proposed cuts to the attendant care program. Lieutenant Governor Crouch then made the following statement on Friday that we received in a press release that says she's deeply concerned with FSSA. And since the meeting on Monday, she said more and more families are contacting her office asking what can be done to reverse or at least pause these cuts. So she's telling everybody, all of us, the same thing. Contact your state legislators immediately. She says that tell them that these cuts need to be paused and we will all get more answers. And we are confident these medically complex children continue getting the care that they need. You have until the 19th. If you'd like to make a comment, go to iga.in.gov. Again, there's a deadline of February 19th. Danielle Johnson, thank you for sharing with us what this proposal means to you and to hundreds of Hoosier caregivers across our state. Bless your heart. Time is precious, and thank you for giving us your time. Our best to your family.
Thank you.
Candace?
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit caregivercrossingradio.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much more. That website again is caregivercrossingradio.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after this.
Welcome back. It's Caregiver Crossing on a beautiful Sunday. Glad you're here with us today. Terri Stacy along with Candace Terri. I still always want to say Preston.
You can.
I can't. That was years ago. Candace Terri is here producing the show and a host, and she does a lot of work. And Tina McIntosh, she's out today. She'll be back with us next time. In studio, if you're just joining us, we're glad again that you're here. But Sargent Lance Dardeen is with us. He's with IMPD Mobile Crisis Assistance Team, and we've had some good conversation. If you've missed it, Candace has got this posted online. Where do you put that, Candace?
Caregivercrossingradio.org.
There you go. Thanks for sticking around. for this next segment, Sargent. Thank you for
Thanks
being
for having
here.
me.
He's been a part of this for a long time, and let's talk about this. In your experience, what de-escalation techniques are most effective when interacting with an agitated person with some sort of cognitive decline?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, de-escalation is an acquired skill. It's something that you should probably practice, right?
Yeah.
And I think most of us in our lives, whether it's our kids, family, have a lot of practice chances to de-escalate. The first thing that I usually start with is what's called emotional labeling. Have you guys ever heard of that? Right. So it's an identification of underlying feelings. So let's say, Terry, on break, we were having some audio issues.
Yeah.
And I could say, hey, Terry, I'm really sorry that happened. I'm sure that was really frustrating.
Well,
And,
it was frustrating. And I was about to come over the table and wrestle Candace.
Right.
So thank you for de-escalating me.
Yes. So if you start with emotional labeling and you identify those underlying feelings, that can go a long way. It takes about 3 seconds to do. It's very easy. It's quick. And it does a great job of setting the stage, developing that rapport, and letting the person in crisis know that you understand what they're going through. Because a lot of times we may feel alone. Like, I feel like this way, no one else knows how I feel. So when we label those emotions, that can do a great job of setting the stage for that de-escalation.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So number one, first and foremost, just calmly, I understand what you're going through.
So I wouldn't say I understand what you're going through, because you probably don't, but just say, it sounds like this has been very insert emotion.
Okay, got it. Yeah. All right, Candace.
So yeah, you're just acknowledging the fact that they're upset about.
Yeah, let's say somebody was just a victim of a crime. You can say, oh, I'm so sorry. That must have been really scary to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's next?
So make sure you talk in a calm voice. Okay.
Take it down.
Calm. Slow down. Okay. Time is on your side. You don't need to rush through this.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
I think that's even more important when dealing with someone that has Alzheimer's or dementia, who's already a little more delayed with their understanding. Because if you're talking faster in a situation that's already agitated, that's just going to make them even more agitated.
Yeah.
And I get excited easily anyway. So I just need to, that's going to be one I have to really remember, is just bring it down.
Right.
Calmly.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next technique is to build rapport. So try to find some sort of common ground, however you can do it. Look at their T-shirt. Are you inside their house? Look at the decor they have around their house. Do they have a Colts T-shirt on? Oh, you're a Colts fan, right? So use anything you can to build rapport. I had a lady in crisis one time. The only thing that I had, her name was Phyllis, and my mom's name was Phyllis. So that was the only thing that I had to use as rapport. So I used it.
Wow.
So also make sure you give your undivided attention. We have that thing in our pockets, called the cell phone, right?
Yeah.
And that can be very distracting. There can be a lot of loud noises. So you just want to try to give that individual the most undivided attention that you can. Give the person a chance to talk. So they should be doing most of the talking. So encourage that, but give them time and don't interrupt them.
Okay.
And also, you want to make sure you use appropriate body language. So did you know that about 90% of the language that we have is nonverbal communication?
I didn't know that the number was that high.
Yeah, only about 10% of our communication are the words we actually use. So, even the listeners here, they can try to finish this phrase. It's not what you said, it's
How you say it?
How you said it. Why do all of us know that? Because we've all had it done to us, and we've all done it to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Our body language, the inflections on the words, how we stand, our arms crossed, all that stuff, that is very important. So just make sure you're using that appropriate body language. And then silence is okay. If you've ever, been in a situation that's stressful, sometimes just sitting with the person in silence is a good way to de-escalate.
Just being in the room with them.
Just being in the room with them sometimes, and try to get down on their level. So you don't want to be standing, over somebody, right, with that intimidated look. You want to get down to the person's level. And one thing you never want to do, never say calm down.
Oh.
Because when in the history of calm down has anyone ever calmed down by being told to calm down?
I thought that was just couples. I thought that was just a married couple thing. No.
Yeah.
Never say calm down.
Never.
I know with dementia patients from time to time, they're talking telling things that I don't know or I don't remember or I don't understand. And is it good at that time just to continue agreeing with them when they're in a crisis situation and they're spewing things and things are coming out, agreeing like you would if they were in a calmer situation, which I'm told to do with Alzheimer's and dementia patients? Is to agree with them. If they say, you know what, it was 1950, it's 1957. Okay. I know what day it is. And you just agree with them. I'm told.
I think it's,
I
do that all the time.
Me too. Well, I do too.
Every year is a different year around here.
Right.
So,
yeah. But in a crisis situation, continue that conversation. Yes, you're right. Or just agreeing. Do you think?
So I don't agree because I don't want to further that, that expectation of this is what's going on, but I like to divert. So if they say, no, it's 1977, well, how's that making you feel? Is there any stress that's going on? Tell me about that. And so I kind of just focus more on the stress side
Diverting
of things and divert that.
Okay.
Very similar to somebody that may have like a psychosis. You never want to agree with the psychosis, but you can divert away from it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
never thought of it like that.
Me either, but I'm learning things. I'm learning from you. Thank you. And I know our listeners are as well. Is there anything else? What else you want to say when it comes to de-escalation?
Try it.
Try it
Just
before
try
you
it.
make the call.
Yeah, to try it in situations where the situation isn't as dire. So let's say that you have a 5-year-old son that doesn't want to brush their teeth, before bed. Try it with them. Try these techniques out. Learn, and then there are classes that anyone in Marion County can take. It's called Mental Health First Aid. It's a great class. You can Google their website. You can use the search engine to find classes near you. And that's an 8-hour course. And it does a fantastic job of teaching you how to recognize signs and symptoms and how to de-escalate and really help people in those times of need.
That's really interesting. Mental health
interesting.
first aid.
Yeah, we should have them on. We
Yeah.
should bring in somebody from there
Absolutely.
to talk about that course. Beautiful.
Got it.
Okay. All right. What else?
Oh, that leads us into the next question about insight on training and ongoing education. So can you tell us what that looks like from the officer side?
Yeah. So on IMPD, we do a lot of mental health training. There is some mandated stuff. So there is in the code, in the Indiana code, it's actually 5219, if you wanted to look that up.
Ooh, say again.
So it's 5-2-1-9. And that actually mandates all law enforcement in the state of Indiana to go through very specific types of training. And that includes Alzheimer's and dementia.
That's good to know.
Every year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So we go through different trainings every year, but we also do CIT training. So the crisis intervention team, that's a 40-hour training on mental health. Every officer with IMPD goes through mental health first aid training. And there's a bunch of other, in-service trainings and little things that we can do.
We've got to take another break, but we'll be right back with Lance and Terry and myself and more Caregiver Crossing right after this. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized care. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Stay put. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. Thank you, Terry. I've missed all the snaps and the clicks and the bangs.
Loving the music.
Welcome back. We are in our final segment of the show this week, and we've been joined by Sargent Lance Dardeen. Thank you for sticking around with us. Did I say your name right?
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm glad Glad you were able to join us. Sargent has been talking with us about mental health crises and what to do and how to de-escalate, and has given us some great numbers and great resources that we'll make sure are linked in the show notes and on our Facebook page. So just a couple more minutes here. Sargent, can you tell us how families and officers can collaborate with healthcare professionals and social workers during a time of crisis?
Great question. So the first thing that I would do is something that should be done before the crisis happens, and that is trying to sign what's called an ROI with the treatment facility. And an ROI stands for Release of Information. Mm-hmm. And it allows the family to talk to the treatment team, to the doctor, back and forth. If for some reason the family can't get an ROI signed, it is important to still communicate with the staff if something happens. So let's say that your loved one walks away. The police pick him up on 65 South, and he's dehydrated and they had to take him to the hospital. The treatment team of that individual needs to know that happened. So the family needs to communicate with them, and they are 100% able to do so. So don't let somebody at that facility, maybe it's, they're new and their first day, and they say, well, no, you can't tell me that. That's a HIPAA thing. No, the family can tell them as much information as they want. Right. They have that right. Now, without the ROI, there usually is no reciprocation, so they can't tell them, what happened at the appointment or, anything like that. But the family can 100% always tell the doctor or the treatment team stuff that has been going on.
And when is a good point to have that on file? Is that something, as soon as mom or dad or Uncle Buddy gets that diagnosis, we need to have that on file, or should we wait until something happens?
No, as soon as possible. Okay. Yeah, try to get that ROI signed as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that particular topic?
No.
Let's do this one then before we get you out of here. Any resources for caregivers who have a loved one who wanders? We just kind of mentioned that a little bit. Maybe in a tracking bracelets. Years ago, we heard about tracking bracelets you could get from fire stations. And then we discussed this topic just a few weeks ago, and that's kind of what sparked our interest in having you come in. Tracking devices, or what for those that wander.
Yeah, so the new popular one is the Apple AirTag. And that is something that you can maybe put on somebody, put in your pocket, the backpack. Either. Absolutely. And it works fantastic even for kids. My daughter uses it for my grandson, just to make sure that he's in a safe place, right?
Oh my gosh, I never thought about the iTag.
Yeah.
Well, I've been hearing about it because people are like crazy and stalkers and sticking them in things to track people.
Oh yeah,
it can
your
be
luggage.
used for good too.
Okay, we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, we should have had you on last month.
Yeah.
With the air tags though, they still don't have geofencing, so you can't put a fence around maybe a place. So if they leave, that it's going to alert you. But there is something called Project Lifesaver, and that's probably what you were talking about earlier. And you can go to the Project Lifesaver website. You can type in your zip code, and it's going to give you the closest facilities that will help you get connected to Project Lifesaver. They usually are fire stations, but it could be other locations as well.
And if your loved one has a cell phone, my husband and I and my mom and my sister actually have Life 360, the app that shows the location and shows how fast they're going in the car, or if there's like an automatic or an abrupt stop. All kinds of things. If they're walking or running, you can
that's
see
Life
360. Mm-hmm. So I like that. It's a little purple icon with some white little squigglies in there.
This is all really good stuff. Apple iTags, Project Lifesaver, and the Life 360 app that we're talking about today. Really good. Anything else?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay, great. Really great conversation. Sargent Lance Dardeen with IMPD Mobile Crisis Assistance Team. And before we let you go, you showed us in the first segment we talked with you a sheet of information. And again, just go over that quickly if you can. And Candace is going to take a picture of it and put it on our Facebook page too, right? Okay.
Yeah, so the crisis information sheet, it has a ton of information about your individual or your loved one. So, what is their history? Do they have mobility problems, communication problems? Are there any concerns, medical concerns? What is their current behavior? So have they been depressed? Have they been confused? Do they have delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, things like that? Have they had suicidal or homicidal thoughts? It goes into provider information. So like, what is their diagnosis? What services are they in? Medications, their treatment team, what preferred hospital they would like to go to, any triggers that they have. And then what information do first responders need to know? Because it's not just police, fire department, EMS personnel could be interacting with your loved one as well. Any suggestions on interventions or de-escalation techniques? So, do they like old Ford Mustangs? And if they do, let's talk about Ford Mustangs, right?
It's just such a great piece of information to have, all of that for you and for the family to have. So we'll get that downloaded. Thank you. Thank you
for
so
having me.
much. You're terrific. Come back, see us.
He has to come back because he has to tell us about the mental health first aid and all of those great things.
Be great.
So we'll see you here soon.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. As we wrap up the show, if you have any questions, any suggestions of people you would like to hear us have on the show, you can email Tina at tina@joyshouse.org. What else? Let's recap. So we've got the vaccine clinics coming up on September 18th and 19th. We've got Teepa Snow on October 13th. And don't forget to nominate the deserving caregiver in your life. You can send those nominations to tina@joyshouse.org.
And also thanks to our Caregiver Crossing. And we're supported by Cardon and Associates, 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest. And more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other. Thanks for listening today.